In this episode, we're going to be going over the second issue of the Return to Jurassic Park comic book series, which are set after the events of the earlier Raptor storyline. Now, if you haven't seen the first part of this new series, feel free to check it out and then come back to part 2, so you can be all caught up. To quickly summarize for the rest of us though, Grant, Ellie, and Muldoon have all been sent back to Isla Nublar along with Hammond's trusted aide Edgar, in order to find out what's been going on in their absence. The military was supposed to ensure the dinosaurs were put back in their cages, but the evidence the team keeps finding suggests otherwise. The mystery of a strange project called the Green Flame has revealed itself to be true to our protagonists. So the group sets out upon the island to explore further and find out exactly what's going on there. While walking through the island, Robert Muldoon discusses the discovery of Biosyn's name etched on some clothing at their last campsite. Alan Grant brings up the fact that Biosyn could possibly be working with the military in some sort of covert operation unbeknownst to Mr. Hammond, but Edgar passes this theory off as nothing more than paranoia. Either way, they're trespassing on its employer's island, and any sort of scheming will get them sent away. While this is happening, Muldoon happens to hear the faint sound of helicopter blades in the distance, and in an instant gets to cover with the rest of the group. Sattler remarks that she doesn't like hiding from their own troops, but the others insist hiding to be the only option that makes sense as of yet. Eventually, the choppers pass over our team, and the reason for this surveillance is believed to have been a routine patrol. Grant brings forward the idea that maybe the army isn't aware of Biosyn's presence on the island, and if that were the case, then maybe it was a good idea to hope that they catch Biosyn and end their troubles. Edgar finds this rather childish and states that the troops would only step up security if they found intruders, which would make their job more difficult. This sparks a bit of a conflict between the team as Grant and Sattler bring forward the fact that they're only on the island as dinosaur specialists, and they know nothing of covert special operations like this new ally does. Edgar finds the small bandies in pitiful, but Muldoon assures him that this is far murkier stuff than Alan and Ellie are used to dealing with, and it's illogical to continue bickering about such a pointless topic. Suddenly, Edgar is overcome with fear at the sight of a dinosaur that has walked behind the four of them. He remarks that even he is aware that this animal is a Triceratops. He asks if it's okay to shoot this one in defense, but the game board makes it abundantly clear that the man couldn't kill a trike with a dozen shots, and that he'd only anger the dinosaur. The Triceratops observes the small group intently, and begins to make its way over to the team. It rubs its beak directly in front of Edgar's face and smells the bushes he's standing in front of, and after letting out a mighty call, begins to dine on the greenery at Edgar's feet. With sweat running down Edgar's brow, the man thankfully declares this encounter as being a lucky close call. With this remark, Alan, Ellie, and Muldoon all fall on the floor of the island in hysterical laughter. This show of hilarity makes the assassin question what this is all about. Grant tells the man that trikes are known the world over as being herbivores, and Ellie lets him know that it only wanted the bush by his feet. Muldoon takes this joking a bit further by citing his high fear in something so obviously non-aggressive. After this encounter is over, the group pushes on and eventually locates a resting site of someone else on the island, and they set out to follow the tracks of these other visitors who've left their presence known. Muldoon hikes up the side of a nearby mountain with the others with the idea of cutting off the people they're stalking in an effective stakeout, and sure enough, a pair of individuals is soon observed passing by the team. The group races down the side of the mountain and plans an ambush in the bushes just shy of these unknown humans. Grant and Ellie are noticeably gassed after their 25-minute descent from the hilltop, which prompts Edgar to tell them to stop breathing so loudly. Alan lets the man know that they're not in bad shape, but they need time to rest as they're not used to this, which gives Edgar the sly rebuttal of everyone having their own unique expertise, and to shut up immediately or he'll do it for them. Edgar and Muldoon stand by as the two people come into view, and in an instant, both of our trained hunters leap from the bushes and hold these new arrivals at gunpoint. Edgar pulls the IDs of the pair and identifies them as Sonia Durant and Raul Lopez. She's a notable female guide, and he happens to be a paleontologist with radical theories. Edgar cuts to the chase and asks what these two are doing here immediately, but he's left with the same question he's just finished asking. After this remark, the man makes it known that they work for Engine, and he needs answers now. Sonia makes a sarcastic greeting to Muldoon, telling him to tell Edgar she's not likely to talk either. Muldoon remarks that she's a tough girl, but she's also a poacher, and he reminds her of what they do to poachers out in the bush. Muldoon tests the two by telling them that their employer Biosyn is responsible for all of this mess, as their man Nedry caused all the dinosaurs to break out in the first place. Raul takes the bait and asks why shouldn't Biosyn sabotage Engine and their stooges like Grant. He says that if he could research the dinosaurs, then that his theories would easily be proven, and claims that Grant is fighting to keep all of the discoveries to himself. At this moment, Edgar makes a move to tie Raul's hands behind his back, but is interrupted by a swarm of pterosaurs descending onto the group. Edgar screams pterodactyls and is promptly corrected as seeing cearadactyls in fact. The pair beg for guns to defend themselves, but Edgar turns this idea down instantaneously, while Ingen's team fires wildly at the reptilian beasts. Grant shoots one of the flyers with a sly remark that in case Edgar was wondering, it's okay to shoot these guys, but their skin is incredibly thick and their shots aren't that effective. Suddenly Lopez is grabbed by one of them and is nearly taken away by the pterosaur, before Alan unloads a high amount of shells up at the creature's legs, forcing it to drop them. They again beg for weapons to defend themselves and are both given spares by Alan and Ellie. This infuriates Edgar, and the 6 of them now unload everything they've got onto their assailants. When the shooting is done, Edgar is unsurprised to see that both Sonia and Raoul have turned their guns on our team, and lets Grant know that treating him like an idiot got them in a totally avoidable situation. But just before Biosyn's forces begin to tie Ingen's team up, army vehicles race down the hillside demanding everyone in the area to freeze. After being told they're trespassing, Edgar lets it known that his people are with Ingen and tells them to call their commander and talk with him. But the leader of this outfit says that they have no radio and that they operate in complete electronic silence, and that they're not exactly working with the general anyway. He tells them to shut up and that they'll make it quick and painless, which seriously disturbs Grant and the others. Before one of the Cearadactyls leaps back to life and knocks some of the soldiers back. Now is their chance, and the others grab hold of the weapons the men drop, and a firefight breaks out between these assassins. Edgar, Sonia, and Raoul shoot several armed men, while Alan, Ellie, and Muldoon lay back and observe the madness of such an event. The fighting leaves only one soldier left standing, who is ordered to surrender by all of the other attackers. He lets them know that they would have gotten out of here with the goods and away from this hellhole if they hadn't intervened, and tells them that he would have killed them personally before he's met with a bullet himself by Hammond's aid. Muldoon feels that this whole event is due to the green flame, and before they leave, the game warden makes sure to leave claw marks from the pterosaurs onto the bodies of soldiers, in a small effort to throw anyone off of their trail once the bodies are discovered. After discerning that there is no way that the two groups can survive on the island independently from one another with these renegade patrols, an unlikely alliance forms between both forces, and the now 6 of them set off on their search for the green flame, all aware of the treachery that could fall upon them at any time now within this pact. And after they leave, a lone Cearadactyl stops by to clean up their mess. I was pretty entertained by the story in this one, and while we only got a few clues as to what exactly the military is doing on the island, I was actually a big fan of finally seeing another rendition of the Cearadactylus make its return to the story, as the animal was originally featured in the first novel. The aerial tech was really fun, and the introduction of both Sonia and Raoul Lopez is something I'm sure will set up a backstabbing later on in future issues. Now, I'm curious to hear what you guys thought about the story, and how you think this story is progressing so far. Personally, it feels a little predictable, but it does seem rather cool. If you enjoyed what you've seen, I would greatly appreciate a like and hope you consider subscribing if you want to see more. I'll see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.